Associate Dean at the Yenching Academy, and I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of the Yenching Academy. It's a rather new educational format in China, and so it needs a little bit of explaining. First of all, it's a center for the study of China, and that means China in all its aspects. China as its history, its present, its economic development, and also China both domestically and foreign. So we try to give an overview of China as seen through foreign frameworks and foreign academic eyes, and also China within China as it is taught and as it is framed within China. It's a master's degree in China Studies, which means that the title on the diploma is China Studies, but it's through the lens or the prism of 6 different research interests that we'll talk about later on. The other thing is that we really stress the cohort here. We stress the students themselves. We try to get some really outstanding, talented young students from some of the best universities in the world to get together and examine China from various different diverse standpoints and viewpoints to try to create some frameworks for understanding China in the modern age. It's a disciplinary, multidisciplinary program. We don't just accept multidisciplinary or cross-disciplinary research. We actually encourage it. So it's one of the features of our institution. If you're studying modern China, you're studying international relations, it's a good time, it's a good chance to come here and actually get some understanding of China's dynastic past. If you're interested in Chinese arts or philosophy, it's also a good chance to learn a little bit about China's modern economic development. So that's part of the selling point of the Academy, is that we're very diverse and it's very multicultural. It's also designed to be a catalyst for dialogue. We want to set up the situation where we have people from different backgrounds, different countries, to be talking about China from different vantage points, from the developed world to the developing world, and of course, most importantly, within China itself. So that's sort of the guiding principles of the Yenching Academy. It's a full fellowship residential program, which means fully funded. It's a 12-month full fellowship with the possibility of 1-year extension, which means everyone has to take the 1 year. The curriculum is finished in 1 year. Chinese students have to take the 2 full years, but the foreign students can take 1 year with an option of continuing the 2nd year, also fully funded, where they can spend the 2nd year doing research on their master's thesis or other projects that they might be interested in. The courses are all in English, taught in English. Yenching courses that are designed especially for our students and for our cohort. But remember that you will be a Peking University student. So in addition to the core courses and the electives that the Academy offers in English, there's also the full range of courses throughout Peking University in all departments. So you're able to take courses, any course offered in English, and there are quite a few courses offered in English at Peking University, in places like the Guanghua School of Management, which routinely has courses in English. All students are welcome to take these courses as well as the Yenching courses. Again, it's an interdisciplinary outlook that includes certain core courses that give you some basic knowledge about China, but you're more than welcome to take other courses either in Yenching or in Peking University that are in other disciplines and other areas. The financial package is a full one for the first year. It's completely funded, tuition, accommodation, a living stipend, which students tell me is quite adequate if you budget it right, stipend for round-trip travel, and basic insurance. So additional funding for the 2nd year, if you decide to stay on, is provided for in the form of research or teaching assistantships, and all international students who choose to complete their thesis in the 2nd year will be fully funded by one means or another. Here are these 6 research areas that I just mentioned: economics and management, history and archaeology, law and society, literature and culture, philosophy and religion, and politics and international relations. So these are kind of standard sort of research areas, but bear in mind that because it's the emphasis is on cross-disciplinary research, on multidisciplinary research vantage points, there's a lot of leeway inside each of these frameworks or these sort of disciplines to do experimentation, to do different kinds of combinations of different courses or different fields of study. We don't burden students with lots of core courses or required courses. There are really only 4. The first is a course called China in Transition, which is basically an overview of post-reform and opening up China from 78 to the present time. Basically, all you need to know about how China got the way it is today after the Mao period. The second, of course, is Chinese language. And that's something that we take very seriously. It's a very important part of the education. All students will take, international students will take Chinese language courses. If they have a Mandarin background or proficiency in Mandarin, they will take a placement test and be placed in an appropriate level of Chinese. But we find this as a very interesting and important aspect of the course that students are required to take Mandarin Chinese. It makes the experience here much richer. They're able to make more inroads into the culture and into the society. And it comes in handy later on in job searches and just trying to create a career in the China context or within China itself. Then there's field study courses that I'll talk about in a second, that in both the first and second semester. And then there's Topics in China lecture series, which we have some very outstanding lecturers and experts from all over the world come to talk, and those lectures are required attendance. And that's really about it. These are the main things that you have to take. They're not that onerous. You can get them out of the way in 2 semesters, as well as a very rich, full course load. And beyond that, you're free to explore the course offerings and to sort of explore an academic and research path that interests you most. The fall field studies in Xi'an, all the students go, the entire cohort goes. They have a very rich and sort of varied field experience. They go to museums, history museums, they go to companies, they look at regional opera. They learn, basically get a very quick glimpse of a cross-section of Chinese culture, Chinese history, and modern China, all in one semester, all in one trip. There's also a directed field trips in the spring, which I won't talk about, but those are more focused on the actual student interest and research interest. We do have some career development opportunities. Of course, we help students with networking. There's one-on-one consultation for students that want career counseling. And there's also a lot of interesting and valuable job fairs on the Peking University campus and also on the Guanghua School of Management that students are able to attend, and just to begin right away making networking and making inroads into possible future careers here in China. We also provide internships. Most students choose to do that in the second year when they have more time. Those are in all different fields, in finance, state media, IT and high tech, and also UNESCO and UNDP, the United Nations Development Program. A wide range of different internships that prepare students for a career in academia or in finance, in industry, journalism, media, and so on and so forth. So this is another opportunity that a lot of students take advantage of, and both supplements and sort of bootstrap, sort of jumpstarts possible involvement in China in terms of a future career. There's lots of clubs that our students can talk about. These are all Yenching Clubs, but students are also allowed to join in any club on the Peking University campus. If your Mandarin is good enough or your interest is strong enough, you can join any of these clubs. These are some of the Yenching Clubs: Chinese folk music club, a film club, a meditation group. I should join that. Running club, student union, swing dance society. That sounds cool. Why don't I join these clubs? That's what I should be doing instead of this. The Greedy Tongues Club, we'll talk about that for a second. We have a very polyglot group coming from all these different countries and nationalities. So the Greedy Tongues Club is a club which enables students to study each other's languages, sort of teach each other the various languages that they speak, which is an interesting linguistic and cultural experience. They probably eat each other's food too, which is probably I would say the most fun. There's 2 major symposia each year. One is coming up soon here, the Yenching Social Innovation Forum. This semester, the theme is sustainable development, very important topic. And keep in mind, these are symposia that are student-run, student-organized. The students do all of the recruiting, they do all of the publicity, they do all of the planning of the itineraries, the panels, and so on and so forth. So it's a fantastic experience, a fantastic chance to get hands-on experience designing and implementing a global symposium with experts from all over the world from the ground up. And a lot of students take part in it. It's a very enriching experience. And it's also Yenching's contribution to the cultural sphere, to the cultural life in Peking University and Beijing in general. The other is the Yenching Global Symposium, which is in the spring. This year has also a very interesting theme of China development in China's global future, and it's right now in the planning stage, and they've already got some really, really interesting delegates and speakers from all over the world. Part of the symposia are these visiting lectures. The Yenching Academy gets really great lectures. Virtually every week there's somebody, an expert, famous author, famous media figures speaking here at the Academy. This is Yu Hua, famous Chinese writer that wrote some famous novels, including the book To Live, which was filmed as a filmed it as a movie, and he spoke to a packed house. Mark Schwartz, former global vice chairman and chairman of Goldman Sachs Asia Pacific, and a series of talks by Martin Jakes, who wrote a very famous book called When China Rules the World, sort of a prescient book written before China had quite as much economic clout as it does now. But he was here a few weeks ago, actually, giving some interesting talks. So as you can see, it's a very diverse student body. Asia, North America represented mostly, but we're building areas such as Africa and the Middle East. And it's a really fascinating experience. We'll talk a minute about that with the students, about what it's like to be in such a multicultural, multidisciplinary environment here. Our partner universities are the top universities in the world. Peking University, which is the Harvard of China, as they say, arguably China's premier university. University of Cambridge, Harvard, University of Chicago, and so on. So that is a very, very brief outline of the Yenching Academy. There's a lot more to talk about.